The great hall of the Zarthi High Council gleamed with polished stone and ancient symbols. The 7 High Councilors sat on elevated platforms, their scaled skin shimmering under the pale blue lights. Each councilor represented a different scientific discipline that formed the backbone of Zarthi society. High Councilor Vexra of Biological Sciences tapped her clawed fingers against the smooth surface of her desk. Her vertical pupils narrowed as she reviewed the data on the primitive species, called humans. The assessment team has returned from the Sol system, she announced to her colleagues. They bring concerning reports about the third planet and its dominant species. Ambassador Krelna stepped forward. Her tall, slender frame moved, with practiced grace as she approached the center of the circular chamber. The observation hood of her ceremonial robe was pulled back, revealing the iridescent scales of her face that marked her as a member of the scientific elite. Honored counselors, Krelna began. My team has spent 3 cycles observing the humans from orbit and through remote probes. Their civilization is primitive by our standards, though they have achieved spaceflight to nearby planets in their system. She activated the central display, showing images of human cities, vehicles, and social gatherings. Physically, they are unimpressive, soft-skinned mammals with limited sensory capacity. No natural defenses, no significant adaptations to their environment. They rely entirely on artificial tools and structures for survival. The counselors nodded. Many species in the galaxy showed similar limitations. However, Krelna continued, the true concern lies in their psychological makeup. Humans are governed by emotional responses, rather than logical assessment. Their bodies produce hormones that override rational thought in moments of stress or attachment. She displayed brain scans showing human neural activity. Most troubling is their offspring bonding behavior. Humans invest extraordinary resources in single offspring, creating dangerous emotional attachments. They will abandon logical action when offspring are threatened. They allow these attachments to dictate resource allocation, political decisions, and even scientific priorities. Counselor Telvi of Sociological Systems leaned forward. Could these behaviors be advantageous in some way? Many species evolved emotional systems for survival advantages. Krelna shook her head. Our analysis suggests otherwise. Their emotional responses make them unpredictable and potentially dangerous as partners in the galactic community. They cannot be relied upon to follow logical protocols when their emotional attachments are involved. The council chamber filled with murmurs of concern. The Zarthi prided themselves on their logical society built on scientific principles and rational governance. Emotional species were considered primitive and unreliable. What do you recommend, Ambassador? Asked Vexra. Limited contact, restricted trade agreements, no sharing of advanced technology, no invitation to join the Galactic Scientific Alliance. They represent a potential destabilizing influence. The High Council considered this assessment. Vexra studied the data with careful attention. Her 300 cycles of life experience had taught her to be thorough. I propose a final verification mission. She finally stated, we will send a team to observe the human colony on Proxima B. This small settlement will provide clearer observations of human behavior without the complexities of their homeworld. If this confirms your assessment, we will classify Earth as a restricted development zone with minimal contact protocols. The Council voted unanimously in favor of this proposal. Ambassador Krelna would lead the observation team personally. She selected 7 of her best scientists, including the young and promising Mirani, who specialized in comparative xenopsychology. 2 standard cycles later, 3 Zarthi vessels departed for the Proxima system. Their mission was simple: observe the humans in their small colony environment for 48 hours, collect final behavioral data, and depart. Their advanced cloaking technology would keep them completely hidden from the primitive human sensors. None of the Zarthi could have predicted what would happen next on the surface of Proxima B. The human settlement named New Hope basked under the orange glow of the twin suns 30 Earth families had established, the research outpost 5 years earlier. Their mission was to study the unique ecosystem of the planet and determine if larger settlement would be viable. Kate Miller worked in the greenhouse dome every morning. She was the settlement's lead botanist, specializing in adaptation of earth plants to alien environments. At 32 years old, she had already established herself as an expert in xenobotany. Her research focused on creating hybrid plants that could survive in the unique soil and light conditions of Proxima. Her 6-year-old daughter Lily sat at a small desk in the corner of the lab, drawing pictures of the strange flowers her mother studied. Lily's brown hair was tied in 2 small ponytails, and her face scrunched in concentration as she tried to capture the unusual colors of alien plant life. "Mom, look, I made the jumping flowers dance." Lily held up her drawing, showing the bounce petals that retracted into the ground at night. Kate smiled at her daughter's artwork. "Those are beautiful, honey. The real ones should bloom tomorrow. Can I help water them?" Lily asked, her eyes bright with excitement. "Of course," Kate nodded. "They need exactly 3 drops each. Remember how we counted yesterday?" This quiet moment of teaching was part of their daily routine. Kate had been raising Lily alone since her husband David's death during the journey to Proxima B. 2 years ago, a malfunction in the ship's oxygen system had taken him and 2 other colonists Kate had considered returning to Earth, but ultimately decided to complete the mission David had been so passionate about. The settlement alarm suddenly blared, interrupting their peaceful morning. Its harsh tone echoed through the dome, atmospheric breach. Multiple unidentified craft entering orbit. All personnel to emergency stations. This is not a drill. The automated voice repeated the warning as red lights flashed throughout the facility. Kate immediately dropped her work tools and grabbed Lily. "Mom, what's happening?" Lily asked, her voice small with fear. "We need to go to the safe place, remember?" Kate kept her voice calm, though her heart raced, just like we practiced in the drills. She lifted Lily and ran toward the central hub where the underground bunker was. Located, other colonists streamed from various domes and research stations, all moving with purpose but without panic. The settlement had rehearsed emergency protocols monthly. Carol Walsh, the settlement administrator, stood at the bunker entrance, directing everyone inside. Her gray hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and her expression remained composed despite the crisis. "Kate, over here." Carol waved. "You're the last from the research sector. Everyone else is accounted for." Kate nodded, hurrying inside with Lily. The heavy doors sealed behind them with a reassuring hiss of pressurization. Inside the reinforced structure, families huddled together while the security team checked systems. Mary Johnson, the head of security, stood before the main console, her dark skin illuminated by the blue glow of monitors she had served in Earth defense before joining the colony mission. 3 unidentified vessels have entered orbit, Mary reported. "No response to communications, no match to any Earth or Allied designs. First contact," someone whispered, and the room fell silent. Humans had yet to encounter another intelligent species, though many believed they must exist. The possibility that New Hope would be the first to make contact had been discussed but never seemed likely given their remote location. "We can't assume anything," Carol said firmly. "Standard protocols apply. We stay in the bunker, we continue attempts at communication, we wait for Earth command response." Kate sat with Lily. On one of the benches lining the wall, she stroked her daughter's hair reassuringly. "It's okay, sweetie, we're safe here." "Are there aliens, Mom?" Lily asked, her eyes wide. Kate considered how to answer, looking at the worried faces around them. "We don't know yet. But if there are, we'll be very polite and very careful." Above the settlement, the Zarthi ships hovered in low orbit. Ambassador Krelna frowned at the blinking alert on her console. "Our cloaking system has malfunctioned," reported the pilot. "The human sensors have detected our presence." This was not part of the plan. The Zarthi observation protocols required complete invisibility. "Can we restore cloaking?" Krelna asked. "Negative. The atmospheric composition has unexpected properties that interfere with our field generators." Krelna considered their options. "We could withdraw and return with modified systems." "The humans have already detected us," argued Mirani, the young psychologist. "This presents a unique opportunity to observe their crisis response. This is valuable data." Krelna weighed the options. The mission was too important to abort, but direct contact was not authorized. She made a decision. We will proceed with surface observation. We will not initiate contact. We will maintain distance and observe their response patterns. This unexpected development may reveal even more about their emotional stability under pressure. The three ships descended through the atmosphere, landing at carefully selected points around the human settlement but outside its defensive perimeter. 8 female Zarthi scientists deployed in environmental suits that concealed their alien features. They moved with efficient precision, setting up observation equipment around the colony inside the bunker. The settlers waited. No attack had come, but the strange ships remained. Still no response to communications, Mary reported after 2 hours. Earth Command acknowledges our emergency. Kate woke to the sound of Lily chattering excitedly. The child was already dressed and attempting to pack her drawing supplies into a small backpack. The dinosaur people will want to see my new pictures. Mom, I made one of their ships too. See it. Has the shiny parts just like the real one. Kate smiled, sitting up in bed. Good morning to you too, and they're called Zarthi, not dinosaur people. Zarthi, Lily repeated carefully. Do they have kids too, Mom? Where are the Zarthi kids? I don't know, honey, Kate admitted. We still have a lot to learn about them. Lily continued packing her supplies. I'm bringing extra paper so they can draw too if they want. Kate marveled at her daughter's natural diplomacy, offering to share a creative activity that required no common language or culture. The simplicity and brilliance of children never ceased to amaze her. After a quick breakfast, they joined other settlers gathering in the community center. Carol Walsh was briefing everyone on protocols for the day. Remember, these are official representatives of an advanced civilization. Their assessment will impact Earth's future relations with their alliance. Keep interactions respectful, professional but authentic. They seem particularly interested in our scientific work and our community structure. Sam Peterson still looked uncomfortable. What if this is just the first step in an invasion? They learn our weaknesses, then strike. Carol shook her head. If they wanted to harm us, they could have done so already. Their technology is clearly advanced. Ambassador Krelna has been transparent about their mission to assess us for potential scientific exchange. I still don't like it, Sam muttered. Kate understood his caution, but had seen nothing threatening in the Zarthi behavior. Their curiosity seemed genuine, their confusion about human emotions revealing. Mary Johnson joined the group. The Zarthi ships are active. Looks like they're sending a communication beam toward their home system, probably reporting to their leadership. As expected. Carol nodded. They mentioned consulting their council. Outside the habitat dome, the morning light of Proxima Bs, twin suns cast an orange glow across the settlement. The 3 Zarthi vessels gleamed in the distance. Like liquid metal, their hulls seemed to shift and flow with the changing light. A small group of settlers had been selected as representatives for continued discussions. Kate as xenobotanist, Dr. Hannah Chen, the settlement's physician, Sam Peterson for engineering expertise, Dr. Alan Rivera for environmental sciences, and Carol as administrator. They gathered in the central plaza where the meeting canopy remained from the previous night. Lily had insisted on coming despite Kate's attempts to convince her to attend the settlement school for the day. But Mom, in part of history. You said so. This is more important than school. Kate had relented, partly because Linda, the teacher, had suggested the experience would be educational for Lily. The child now stood beside Kate, clutching her drawing supplies, her eyes fixed on the approaching aliens' ambassador. Krelna led a larger delegation this time. 8 Zarthi representatives walked in perfect formation toward the human gathering. Mirani and Sariti were among them, along with 5 others Kate hadn't met. Their environmental suits were more streamlined today, and none wore helmets, suggesting they had confirmed Proxima B's atmosphere was safe for their biology. Carol stepped forward. Welcome back to New Hope. We look forward to continuing our discussions. Krelna inclined her head in what the humans had come to recognize as a formal greeting. The Zarthi Council has authorized expanded contact protocols. Our mission parameters now include preliminary scientific exchange. This was clearly significant. The aliens' demeanor seemed less guarded, their posture. More open introductions were made. Kate noticed how the Zarthi scientists each specialized in different fields, mirroring the human delegation. There was Vela, expert in planetary ecosystems, Nari, who studied genetic adaptation, Ordes, who specialized in structural engineering, Telri, who focused on communication systems, and Jenny, who observed cultural development patterns. A well-rounded research team. As the formal greetings concluded, Lily stepped forward, holding out her drawing to Mirani. "I made this for you. It's your ship and our flowers together." Mirani seemed momentarily startled by the direct approach from the child. She looked to Krelna, who gave a subtle nod of permission. The psychologist carefully accepted the drawing, examining it with genuine interest. The perspective is impressionistic, yet captures key visual elements. Mirani observed, "Thank you, young human." "Your gift is accepted," Lily beamed with pride. "I brought paper and colors. You can make one too if you want." This unexpected offer seemed to confuse the Zarthi scientist. "You suggest reciprocal artistic creation. It's fun," Lily explained. Simply, Sarity stepped forward. "This form of communication through visual representation, is it common among your juveniles?" Kate nodded. "Almost universal children express themselves through art before they master language. It's both communication and development tool." "Fascinating," Sariti made notes on a small device. "Our offspring progressed directly to technical communication. No intermediate artistic phase." The formal meeting began under the canopy. The human representatives shared detailed information about their settlement research and findings. The Zarthi listened attentively, occasionally asking questions that revealed their different perspective. "Your environmental adaptation seems unnecessarily slow," noted Vela, the ecosystem specialist. "Our protocols would implement complete terraforming immediately." Alan Rivera shook his head. "We tried that approach on Mars in our home system. It created cascading ecological collapse. We learned that working with existing systems, even alien ones, yields more sustainable results." "Inefficient," Vela commented. "But resilient," Alan countered. "When solar flares disrupted our power systems last year, the partial adaptation meant some native plants continued oxygen production. Our hybrid approach saved lives." The Zarthi conferred among themselves. This concept of working with rather than conquering environments seemed novel to them. During a break in the discussions, Kate noticed that Lily had settled in a corner of the canopy area, spreading her art supplies on the ground. To her surprise, Mirani had joined the child, sitting somewhat stiffly observing as Lily demonstrated how to create pictures with the colored pencils. "Your offspring is attempting to teach our scientist," Krelna commented, joining Kate. "Lily loves sharing what she knows." Kate smiled, watching the interaction. She's naturally curious about others. "And the scientist," Kate asked, "is this uncomfortable for her?" "Uncomfortable, yes," Krelna admitted. "But scientifically valuable. Mirani specializes in developmental psychology. Your offspring provides unexpected research opportunity." Kate watched as Lily handed a blue pencil to the hesitant alien scientist, showing her how to hold it properly. The contrast between the child's small fingers and the Zarthia's long-scale digits was striking. Yet there was something profoundly moving about the scene. The simplicity of communication through shared activity. After a moment of observation, Mirani began to draw. Her movements were precise, mathematical, almost as if she were creating a technical diagram rather than art. Lily watched with fascination, then gently suggested using more colors. "No, that's too many straight lines," the child explained. "Flowers are swoopy like this." She demonstrated with flowing movements of her pencil. Mirani adjusted her approach, following the child's guidance. The result was still precise, but with more organic curves. "A successful communication exchange," Krelna observed, "without language dependency. Impressive methodology." Kate smiled. "We call it play. It's how children learn, but also how they connect with others." "Play?" Krelna repeated the word as if testing an unfamiliar concept. Our offspring are provided with simulation, challenges for skill development. This appears less structured yet equally effective for learning. Sometimes less structure allows for more discovery, Kate suggested. Creativity often emerges from freedom to explore without predetermined outcomes. Krelna seemed to consider this deeply, an interesting hypothesis with potential applications to scientific methodology. The formal discussions continued throughout the morning. The humans shared their research findings while the Zarthi offered limited insights into their own science. Clearly, they were restricted in what technologies they could reveal to a developing species. Dr. Hana Chen, the settlement's physician, had been engaged in intense discussion with Nari, the Zarthi genetic specialist. Your approach to medicine focuses heavily on symptom management, Nari observed, rather than genetic optimization. We balance treatment with prevention, Hana explained. Genetic optimization, as you call it, raises ethical questions for us about diversity and consent. Inefficient, Nari commented. Preventable suffering could be eliminated. At what cost? Hana challenged. Our genetic diversity has been key to our survival as a species. Different traits become advantages in different environments. This philosophical difference seemed to intrigue the Zarthi. Their own approach prioritized efficiency and logical outcomes, while the humans emphasized choice, diversity, and adaptation. As midday approached, Carol suggested a tour of the settlement. The Zarthi agreed, following the humans through various habitat domes and research facilities. They showed particular interest in the greenhouse where Kate and her team developed hybrid plants. These specimens show remarkable adaptation, noted Vela, examining a modified wheat plant. Successful integration of native soil microbes with earth crop genetic structure very innovative. Dawn brought an unexpected development. The Zarthi ships were gone. The settlers gathered in the command center staring at empty sensor readings, where 3 alien vessels had been the previous night. No communication, no warning. Carol looked troubled. They simply left during the night cycle. Maybe that's standard procedure, Kate suggested, though she felt a weight of disappointment. They gathered their data and departed to file their report, or they saw something they didn't like, Sam Peterson added, voicing the concern many felt, something that made them leave immediately. Mary Johnson shook her head. Security systems show no unusual activity. They were scanning our settlement yesterday, but nothing invasive. Nothing that would indicate hostile intent, so we just wait. Carol sighed. Return to normal operations and hope their assessment is favorable. The settlement tried to resume its routines, but the historic first contact had changed everything. Conversations in the meal hall centered on the Zarthi theories about their civilization technology, and eventual return dominated every discussion. Kate found it particularly difficult to explain to Lily. But they didn't say goodbye. The child protested at breakfast, her lower lip trembling slightly. Marani was going to show me more star pictures. Sometimes grown-ups have to leave quickly for work, Kate explained gently. Even Zarthi grown-ups, I'm sure they would have said goodbye if they could. Lily considered this, picking at her food. Do you think they'll come back? Kate wished she could promise they would. I hope so, honey. They learned a lot from us. Maybe they'll want to learn more. The day passed slowly. Kate tried to focus on her research in the greenhouse, but found her mind wandering. She kept glancing at the sky, wondering what the Zarthi Council would decide about humanity. Would they be deemed worthy of further contact, or classified as too unpredictable, too emotional for galactic society? That evening, Kate sat with Lily reviewing her lessons. The child had drawn pictures of the Zarthi all day, adding detailed scales and vertical pupils to her alien figures. Mom, Lily asked suddenly, why do the Zarthi think feelings are bad? Kate looked up, surprised by the insightful question. What makes you think they believe that? Lily shrugged. Marani said they do things the logical way, not the feeling way. She said their children don't draw pictures or play games. They just learn facts. Kate considered how to explain. It's not that they think feelings are bad exactly. They just organize their society differently. They value order, efficiency, and clear thinking. They might see strong emotions as unpredictable or confusing. But feelings help you understand things, Lily insisted. Like when you're scared, it means something's dangerous. When you're happy, it means something's good. That's very wise, Kate smiled. Emotions can be like sensors telling us important information about our world. I think Mirani has feelings too, Lily continued. She was happy when I gave her my drawing, I could tell. Kate wondered if the child might be right. Perhaps the Zarthi had emotions but expressed them differently. Or perhaps they had evolved to prioritize logical processing over emotional response. Both approaches had advantages. 3 days passed with no sign of the Zarthi. The settlement gradually returned to its research routines. Earth Command had been notified of the contact, sending a flurry of excited messages and demands for detailed reports. Carol spent hours each day in communication with officials. Kate and her team were asked to document every botanical specimen they'd shown the aliens on the 4th morning Kate was working in the greenhouse. When the alarm sounded, she froze soil samples forgotten in her hands, that same automated voice. Atmospheric breach, unidentified craft entering orbit, all personnel to emergency stations, not again. Kate thought, hurrying to find Lily. The child was in the school dome with Linda and the other children. Mom. Lily ran to her, eyes wide. Are the Zarthi back? I don't know yet. Kate took her hand. But we need to follow safety protocols. They joined other settlers moving toward the central hub. But unlike the first alarm, there was no panic. This time there was anticipation. Even excitement. Carol Walsh stood at the communications console. Single vessel approaching, not matching Zarthi configuration. The settlers exchanged worried glances. Another alien species. So soon after the first, Mary studied the sensor readings. Larger than the Zarthi ships. Different energy signature. Definitely not human design. Any response to communications? Carol asked. None yet. Mary replied. But they're making no attempt to hide. Their approach vector is direct open. The settlers debated whether to shelter in the bunker or remain in the command center. Carol made the decision. We stay here. Maintain open communications. Ready the bunker, but don't evacuate the Zarthi. Contact was peaceful. This may be as well. They watched the monitors as the unknown ship entered the atmosphere. It was massive, far larger than the Zarthi vessels. Its design was different too. Less sleek, more structured, with clear sections and visible propulsion systems. It's landing. Mary announced, same clearing the Zarthi used. Minutes later, the sensors showed movement from the ship. A delegation was approaching the settlement. Open the main airlock. Carol ordered. Let's meet them properly. Kate, Lily, Carol, Mary, and several other settlers gathered at the main entrance. As the outer doors slid open, they got their first view of the new visitors. They were Zarthi, but not the scientific team they'd met before. These aliens wore formal attire, elaborate robes with insignia and markings of status. Their scales had been adorned with what appeared to be ceremonial pigments, creating patterns that emphasized their features. At their lead was a Zarthi taller than any they'd seen before. Her scales were a deep blue with silver patterns. Her robes featured complex symbols, and she carried what appeared to be a ceremonial staff. Greetings. New Hope Settlement. The translation device spoke as the lead Zarthi addressed them. I am High Counselor Vexra of the Zarthi Scientific Alliance. I come in formal capacity following observer assessment. Carol stepped forward. High Counselor, we are honored by your presence. Welcome to New Hope. Vexra inclined her head. Your hospitality toward our observation team has been noted. The Council has reviewed all findings and reached classification decision regarding human species. The settlers held their breath. This was it. The moment that would determine humanity's place. In the galactic community, Earth and its colonies are hereby classified as emergent scientific partner status. Vexra announced, this permits limited technological exchange, cultural communication, and scientific cooperation under supervision protocols. Collective sigh of relief passed through the settlers. Some even broke into spontaneous applause. Kate felt a surge of pride. They had passed whatever test the Zarthi had set. "We are honored," Carol responded formally, "and look forward to peaceful exchange of knowledge." High Counselor Vexra continued, "This classification was not without debate. Your species' emotional response patterns remain concerning to some council members. However, Ambassador Krellna's team provided compelling evidence of adaptive benefits to your approach." Kate felt Lily squeeze her hand excitedly. The child seemed to understand the significance of the moment. The observation team will return to continue scientific exchange. Vexra explained, "My presence today is ceremonial to formalize relationship and provide initial technology access package." One of Vexra's aides stepped forward carrying a crystalline container similar to the one Mirani had given Lily, but much larger. "This contains permitted knowledge. Exchange materials," Vexra stated. "Medical protocols, agricultural adaptation techniques, and basic stellar navigation data. Nothing that would disrupt your natural development path, but information that will benefit your colony and homeworld." Carol accepted the container with appropriate solemnity. "Your generosity honors us. We offer our own knowledge in return, limited though it may be. Knowledge exchange need not be equivalent to be valuable." Vexra responded, "Your species' unique perspective offers insights our approach sometimes overlooks. This complementary thinking is foundation of scientific alliance." After the formal presentation, Carol invited the High Counselor and her delegation to tour the settlement. While the officials conducted their diplomatic exchanges, Kate noticed a familiar figure hanging back from the main party. "Mirani," she called, recognizing the psychologist. The Zarthi scientist approached, seeming pleased to be recognized. "Botanist Kate Miller. Your memory function is efficient." Kate smiled at the formal greeting. "It's good to see you again. We wondered if you'd return. Council deliberations required all observation data." Mirani explained, "My presence was required for direct testimony. Your testimony helped." "Then," Kate suggested. "Accurate observation is scientific duty," Mirani replied, though Kate thought she detected a hint of pride. "The unique adaptability demonstrated by your settlement provided important counter-evidence to previous human assessment." Before Kate could respond, Lily spotted them and broke away from Linda, running toward the Zarthi scientist. "Mirani, you're back," the child called excitedly. "I made more drawings. Do you want to see?" The Zarthi scientist turned toward Lily. "Young human, your artistic communication skills are of scientific interest. I would examine your new creations." Lily beamed, taking this as enthusiasm. She reached into her small backpack, pulling out several folded papers. "This one's the stars from the crystal you gave me, and this one's what I think Zarthi children might look like. Do they look like this?" The settlers debated Kate's proposal for nearly an hour. Opinions were divided. Some believed remaining in the bunker was the only safe option. Others agreed that a cautious attempt at contact might be wise. "It's too dangerous," argued Sam Peterson, one of the engineers. "We have no idea what their intentions are, which is exactly why we need to find out." Kate countered, "We can't stay in this bunker forever." Carol Walsh considered both sides carefully. Her responsibility as settlement administrator weighed heavily. "If we do this, it needs to be carefully planned. One person, a clear, nonviolent approach, no weapons." "I still think it's a mistake." Sam shook his head. "What about your daughter Kate? Who will take care of Lily if something happens to you?" The question struck Kate like a physical blow. She looked at Lily, who now played quietly with two other children in the corner of the bunker. For a moment, doubt crept into her mind. Mary Johnson stepped forward. "I should go. Am security trained." "No," Kate said firmly, finding her resolve again. "It needs to be me." "Why you?" Carol asked. "Am a scientist, not security." Kate explained, "I represent peaceful research, and I have something I can use to communicate." She described her plan to bring plant specimens as a way to demonstrate scientific exchange. If they are researchers too, they'll understand the gesture. It's a universal language. After further discussion, Carol finally agreed Kate would attempt contact, while the others remained safely. In the bunker, Linda Wilson, Lily's teacher, agreed to watch over the child. Kate knelt before her daughter, explaining as simply as she could, "I'm going outside to talk to our visitors." Lily's small face scrunched with worry. "Why you, Mom?" "Because sometimes grown-ups need to be brave and say hello first." Kate smoothed Lily's hair. "I'll come back as soon as I can. You stay with Ms. Wilson and be my brave girl." "Like our counting game?" Lily asked, referring to their ritual for facing scary situations. "Exactly," Kate smiled. "Count to 10 and find your brave. Remember, I love you more than all the stars. Love you more than all the planets," Lily replied, their familiar exchange bringing comfort to both. Kate gathered her materials, carefully selecting plant specimens from the greenhouse supplies stored in the bunker. She arranged them in her research case along with basic scientific tools. The security team gave her a communications device. "We'll be monitoring you the entire time," Mary explained. "Any sign of danger, get down on the ground immediately." Kate nodded, taking a deep breath as the outer door was prepared. She wore her standard work uniform with the New Hope patch clearly visible on the sleeve. No weapons, nothing that could be perceived as threatening. "Good luck," Carol said as the door opened. Sunlight flooded in as Kate stepped outside. The air was cool and still. The domes of the settlement gleamed under the orange sky of Proxima B. In the distance she could see one of the alien vessels, a sleek metallic craft unlike any human design. Its surface reflected the sunlight with an almost liquid quality. Kate walked slowly, deliberately keeping her hands visible. She moved away from the bunker entrance toward the central plaza of the settlement. Once there, she stopped and carefully sat cross-legged on the ground. From her pack, she removed the plant specimens and began arranging them methodically on the ground. Before her, through her earpiece, she could hear the tense breathing of those monitoring her from the bunker, but no one spoke. Kate focused on her task, laying out the plants in a clear taxonomic order, showing deliberate scientific classification. Placing native plant species in order of evolutionary development, she said aloud, hoping the visitors might have translation technology. "The sequence demonstrates understanding of biological relationships. My name is Kate Miller. I'm a botanist studying adaptation of life forms across different environments." Near, their ship, the Zarthi observation team, watched with fascination. Unexpected behavior. Mirani reported scanning the lone human. The female has separated from the group and appears to be creating some kind of biological display. Ambassador Krelna studied the scene through enhanced visuals. "Is this some form of primitive offering or worship?" "I believe it's a scientific demonstration," Mirani countered, excitement in her voice. "Look at the organization pattern. It's taxonomic classification by genetic relationship and evolutionary development. This is not random." The Zarthi scientists gathered around the monitoring equipment. Their research had suggested humans would remain in defensive clustering, protecting their young. This solitary approach by an adult female contradicted their behavioral models. "She appears to be arranging the specimens while speaking," noted Telri, another scientist. "Possible attempt at communication." "Can we translate?" asked Krelna. Telri adjusted their systems. "Partial translation possible." Their language patterns were included in our research database. The human words filtered through their translation matrix, incomplete but clear enough. Botanical science classification, evolution, adaptation, communication. Peaceful. Krelna considered this development. She is attempting scientific exchange using botanical specimens as a common reference point. Intelligent approach. "Should we respond?" asked Mirani. "Not yet," Krelna decided. "Continue observation. Let us see how long she maintains this behavior. Their species has shown limited patience in previous studies." Hours passed. Kate continued her work, periodically rearranging the specimens, explaining their properties and relationships. She spoke about adaptation, survival strategies, and the connections between different life forms. As time went on, she added small labels and crude drawings showing her understanding of the plant's cellular structures. In the bunker, the settlers watched through security cameras. "She's been out there for 4 hours." Carol noted concern in her voice. No response from the visitors. Mary nodded, but no threats either. They're just watching. In the corner, Lily had grown restless. "When is Mom coming back?" Linda tried to distract her. "Your mom is doing something very important right now. She's being very brave." "I want to see," Lily insisted, trying to peek at the monitors. Linda gently pulled her away. "Not right now, sweetie. Let's draw a picture for your mom instead. Something to give her when she comes back." Lily brightened at this idea. "I can draw the jumping flowers. She loves those." Outside, the temperature began to drop as the primary sun of Proxima b dipped toward the horizon. Kate had prepared for this, pulling a thermal blanket from her pack. She wrapped it around her shoulders, but remained seated, continuing her scientific demonstration. The Zarthi observers were increasingly puzzled. "The human female has maintained her position for 2 cycles, reported Mirani. "Despite dropping external temperature, body scans show minor discomfort but no sign of retreat." "Fascinating persistence," noted Telri. "Inconsistent with our understanding of human comfort priorities." Ambassador Krelna was troubled. The behavior didn't match their models. "Scan the protected structure." "What is driving this behavior?" Mirani directed sensors toward the human bunker. The readings showed multiple life signs clustered in defensive positions. Primarily, adults with smaller readings indicating juveniles, the expected protection formation. She adjusted the scan, focusing on genetic markers. The solitary female has genetic markers matching one of the juveniles, likely her offspring. This revelation startled the Zarthi team. "She has left her offspring in the protected structure." Krelna stated, "This contradicts all our data on human maternal behavior. The protection instinct should be overwhelming, yet she remains exposed." Sariti, a junior scientist, who had remained silent until now, spoke hesitantly. "Perhaps we misunderstood the nature of their protection instinct." The others turned to her. "Explain," Krelna demanded. "We assumed direct physical proximity was the only expression of their protection drive." Sariti continued, "But what if their concept is more abstract? By offering herself as a scientific representative, she protects the entire group, including her offspring, from potential conflict." The Zarthi considered this interpretation. It suggested a level of abstract thinking and sacrifice they had not attributed to humans. Inside the bunker, Lily had grown increasingly anxious. The picture she had drawn of the jumping flowers was complete, but her mother had not returned. "Mom has been outside too long," she said, her small face set with determination. "She might be cold." Linda tried to reassure her. "Your mom is fine. The security team is watching her." "She needs her special jacket," Lily insisted, "the one with the big pockets, for samples." Before anyone could stop her, Lily darted toward the supply shelves where personal items had been stored. She pulled out Kate's heavy research jacket with its many pockets. "See, she forgot it." Lily held it up. "She needs it." Carol approached, gently. "Lily, your mom is being very brave out there. The best way to help her is to stay safe in here." "But I'm brave too," Lily declared. "Mom says being brave isn't about not being scared. It's about doing what's right even when you're scared." Taking her jacket. The adults exchanged concerned glances. "Of course you're brave." Linda knelt beside her. "But we need to wait for the right time." Lily clutched the jacket, her expression stubborn. "Mom is cold, I can tell." Mary looked at the monitors where Kate sat huddled under her thin thermal blanket. The temperature had dropped significantly with the sunset. "The child is right," she said quietly to Carol. "Kate is getting too cold out there. We should call her back." Before Carol could respond, the bunker was filled with a sudden commotion. Near the entrance, Lily had somehow slipped past the distracted guard and pressed the emergency release button. The outer door slid open and she darted through. Kate stood frozen as 3 tall figures emerged from the nearest alien ship. Their movements were fluid, almost graceful as they approached. They wore form-fitting environmental suits that revealed slender bodies taller than any human. The suits were a metallic blue color with no visible seams. Their helmets had large curved visors that revealed nothing of what lay beneath. Kate positioned Lily slightly behind her, keeping one hand on her daughter's shoulder. She forced herself to breathe evenly. Though every instinct screamed to run with her child back to the safety of the bunker, she stood her ground. This might be humanity's first contact with an alien species. The next moments would be historic. The alien stopped about 10 meters away. The tallest one in the center made a gesture and a small device floated forward, hovering between the two groups. A soft humming sound came from the device, then a voice, mechanical but clear. "We are observers from the Zarthi Council. Our mission was scientific observation, not contact." Kate swallowed hard, finding her voice. "I'm Kate Miller, botanist of New Hope Settlement. This is my daughter, Lily. We welcome peaceful scientific exchange." The center figure reached up, removing its helmet. Kate gasped softly as she saw an alien face for the first time. The being had a humanoid shape, but its skin was covered in fine scales that shimmered with iridescent blue and green colors. Its face featured large eyes with vertical slit pupils like a cat's. No visible nose, just two small breathing slits. A lipless mouth that moved with precise motions as it spoke. Large head with no hair. The effect was both beautiful and unsettling. "I am Ambassador Krelna, lead observer," the alien said through the translation device. "We did not intend to reveal ourselves. Your detection systems were not supposed to identify our presence." Kate nodded, understanding. "You were studying us like scientists observing wildlife." The alien blinked its vertical eyelids, a gesture Kate couldn't interpret. "Yes, our mission was final behavioral assessment of human species." "Final," Kate repeated. "You've been observing us before." "Many cycles," confirmed Krelna, from distance. "Only your species is being evaluated for classification in Galactic Registry." Kate felt Lily press against her leg. The child was staring at the aliens with wide-eyed wonder rather than fear. "Are you a dinosaur person?" Lily asked, suddenly, pointing at Krelna's scaled face. Kate tensed, but Krelna tilted her head in what might have been curiosity. "I am Zarthi." She responded directly to the child. "Our species evolved from reptilian ancestors as yours evolved from mammals." The second alien removed her helmet, revealing similar features, but with purple scale patterns. She spoke to Krelna in their language, a series of clicking sounds and soft hisses. The translation device remained silent during this exchange. Krelna nodded, then addressed Kate again. "My colleague Mirani specializes in species psychology. She notes that your behavior and that of your offspring does not match our prediction models." "How are we supposed to behave?" Kate asked. "Remain in defensive shelter. Protect young at all costs. Avoid exposure to unknown entities." Krelna listed. "Your maternal instinct should have prevented you from leaving shelter. Your group should have prevented offspring from exposure. These behaviors contradict our understanding." Kate looked down at Lily, who was now attempting to show her flower drawing to the fascinated Mirani. "Your understanding of maternal instinct may be too narrow," Kate explained. "Sometimes protection means taking risks. When I came out here, I was protecting everyone by trying to establish peaceful communication, and—" The child asked Krelna, "Why was it allowed to leave safety?" Kate smiled ruefully. "She wasn't allowed. She decided her mother needed help and found a way to do it. Children can be surprisingly resourceful when motivated by love." The third alien had now removed her helmet, revealing scales and shimmering teal patterns. She addressed Krelna at length, gesturing toward Kate and Lily. "Sariti suggests your behavior indicates a more complex protection strategy than our models accounted for." Krelna translated. "She theorizes that human emotional bonds create adaptive behaviors, not just reactive ones." Kate nodded. "That sounds right. Emotions don't just make us react, they help us solve problems in creative ways." The aliens conferred among themselves. Their discussion animated. Kate caught Mirani gesturing toward Lily several times. The child had sat down on the ground and was adding to her flower drawing completely at ease despite the extraordinary circumstances. Finally, Krelna turned back to, "Kate, your settlement leader approaches." Kate turned to see Carol Walsh walking slowly from the bunker, followed by Mary Johnson. Both women moved deliberately, hands visible showing they carried no weapons. "My colleagues," Kate explained. "Carol Walsh, our administrator, and Mary Johnson, head of security." When they reached the group, Carol nodded formally to the aliens. "On behalf of the New Hope settlement and Earth, I welcome you. We apologize for any alarm our defensive measures may have caused," Krelna responded with equal formality. "The alarm was mutual. Your detection of our ships was unexpected. Our mission parameters did not include direct contact." "Yet here we are," Carol said. "Perhaps you would like to continue your observations more openly. Our settlement has much to share." The aliens conferred briefly before Krelna responded. "We will consult with our council. There are protocols for unexpected contact scenarios." Mary knelt beside Lily, examining her closely. "You gave us quite a scare. Young lady." "Mom needed her jacket," Lily explained as if it were the most obvious thing in the world, "and I wanted to show her my drawing." "The juvenile shows remarkable adaptive problem-solving," Marani commented through the translator, "and minimal fear response to alien entities. Children are often more adaptable than adults." Kate explained. "They have fewer preconceptions." As they spoke, the orange sun of Proxima b dipped below the horizon. The settlement lights activated automatically, casting a warm glow over the central plaza. "Night cycle begins," noted Krelna. "Temperature will continue to decrease." Carol nodded. "We'd like to invite you to continue our conversation inside our community center. It's more comfortable and we can show you our research." The aliens hesitated, clearly uncertain about entering the human structure. "We understand if you're cautious," Kate added. "We would be too in your position. Perhaps we could set up a neutral meeting area here in the plaza. We have portable shelters and heating units." Krelna seemed to appreciate this consideration. "Acceptable. We will bring our own environmental monitors." Within an hour, the settlers had erected a large canopy in the plaza with heating units and lighting. The security team maintained a respectful distance while Carol, Kate, and several other scientists met with the three Zarthi representatives. Lily had finally been convinced to return to the dome with Linda, though only after extracting a promise that she could return in the morning to meet the dinosaur people again under the canopy. Kate spread out her research on the table. "These are examples of earth plants we've successfully adapted to grow in Proxima soil. The process requires careful genetic modification to handle the different light spectrum and mineral composition." Mirani examined the specimens with evident interest. "Your species shows admirable persistence in adaptation efforts." "Necessity." Kate smiled. "We need to grow our own food to survive. Here." "Your colonization approach differs from standard protocols," Sariti noted. "Most spacefaring species establish artificial environments that replicate homeworld conditions completely." "We tried that initially," Kate explained, "but it wasn't sustainable long-term. We needed to find ways to work with this world, not against it." Carol joined them, bringing beverages for the humans. The Zarthi politely declined, explaining their different biological needs. Ambassador Krelna. Carol addressed the lead, alien. "May I ask what your assessment of humans will mean for us?" Krelna hesitated before responding. "The Galactic Scientific Alliance maintains protocols for contact with developing species. Species are classified based on technological development, ethical frameworks, and stability potential. Your species is near the threshold for limited contact privileges, and your assessment will influence this classification." Carol concluded. "Correct?" Krelna confirmed. "Our observations contribute to final determination. Whether Earth remains isolated or begins limited scientific exchange with Alliance members." Kate felt the weight of this revelation. Their small settlement could influence humanity's first steps into a larger galactic community. "What factors are being considered in your assessment?" she asked. Mirani answered, "Technological development is adequate. You have achieved independent spaceflight and self-sustaining colonies. Resource management shows improvement, though historical records indicate concerning patterns. Ethical treatment of planetary systems meets minimum standards. The primary concern, Krelna continued, has been your species' emotional response patterns. Previous observations suggested humans prioritize emotional attachments over logical outcomes, making you unpredictable partners in scientific exchange. You thought our emotions made us unreliable. Kate translated, correct? Krelna nodded. Particularly your protection behaviors toward offspring. Your attachment to individual young ones appeared to override rational decision-making. Mary, who had joined the conversation, laughed softly. So you're worried we're too loving toward our children? The aliens seemed confused by this reaction, not the attachment itself. Sariti clarified. But the apparent override of logical processes, the potential for unpredictable actions when offspring are involved.